I don't even know if it was the woman. I don't even know whose teeth they were. But somebody took these teeth, took them out, took the teeth, dunked it in the water glass and cleaned the teeth in the water, went like this. I don't know where they put them because I was in the back already gagging. Hold on. I was like, wait, what? Hi. I was going to start this off on a much more positive note, but I just spent the last 45 minutes trying to get my computer to cooperate, and every time I clicked a button, I'd have to wait 5 minutes for it to load what I wanted it to do. That was not fun. I also was trying to reposition my microphone while that was happening because I felt like it was just a bit awkward and just kind of like I don't like the angle. And so I kept trying to readjust it onto my janky desk that I have. No other position was working. For some odd reason, the base of the microphone keeps falling off. And you want to know the craziest part? I put the microphone in the exact same spot that it was in before. That's awesome. I love that for me. Drink of choice today is a watermelon martini that I made myself. Low-key, really want to just down this back, but I don't want to encourage drunken behavior, so I'm just going to sip on this every 30 seconds, so that way I can get this in my system, and then I will be a little bit more positive. That's nice. Just going to take one more for good measure. Yep. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. If I'm tech savvy enough, I will upload a video on how I made this. I took a video right before I came in here to show how I made my happy hour drink. I have watermelon, so I muddled that with simple syrup. I did a little bit of lemon and lime juice because I wasn't sure which one would work, so I just put both of them in there. And then, what else did I do? Oh, watermelon, absolute watermelon, that's vodka. Watermelon flavored vodka. And then I did, agavero. Agavero's usually like, it's a tequila liqueur, but I only did a little bit. They have an orange flavored agavero, which is really, really good. But the only issue is that, I don't have the orange one, but if I did, it would taste a lot better. But that's okay. I have been out for several weeks because I just have had so much going on. I've had my mom's birthday, we had a quinceañera, I'm trying to think of what else we had going on, just a lot, we still had a lot going on. Sorry. We had many things going on, so I just have not had time to just sit down, and it was really sweet. I had a lot of people like say, how's it going? How's the podcast going? And I'm like, I feel like such a nerd because it's kind of like it's like I'm not quite experienced in this, so it's like I feel very geeky and nerdy when I'm like, I do a podcast and I really like doing it, and it's just kind of like, ugh. But I will appreciate the more that I do this, the more that I hustle with it. When I reach a point where it's like I have a lot of following and a lot of experience and everything is much more professional, I think that will be less awkward to say in public. Or I can just act like I do have 5 million followers and just be like, yeah, yep, yes I do. Anyways, I had a couple of talking points today because I feel like it is quite important for a podcast to take some notes, write down some things that should be discussed. I'm not quite sure if I'm one to talk about like current events and such. I will say I was in broadcasting in high school, and that was a topic that we really had to touch on pretty often. I didn't mind it very much because it was pretty fun, like finding current events that were going on in the world, but also I don't care. No, but like the important stuff, yes, of course. But when it's like Kim Kardashian dissolved all of her lip filler, I don't care. I really could care less. Or if it's like people keep talking about that couple at the Coldplay concert. I mean, that was pretty comical. But I'm not really just gonna sit here for like an hour or 30 minutes and like talk about that and deep dive into it. I mean, I technically could, but it's like, you don't want to hear me do that. You don't really care, right? I don't know. I think I'm kind of coming from like an audience standpoint. I do like watching certain podcasts that are like, oh, listen to this drama. And like sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody did that, or I can't believe that happened. But then there's some things that like are spoken about, and I'm like, I feel like this is brain rot content, and I don't want to give brain rot content. I want to be able to just sit down and chit chat, not really like gossip about. Well, isn't that what happy hour is? Sitting down and gossiping? I feel like that actually defeats the purpose of what this whole podcast is supposed to be about. Well, here we are. Maybe I might gossip a little bit here and there. Use some fake names here and there. That could be fun. Yeah, no, now that I think about it, I'm really not trying to get into any trouble. So, let's start off with, God damn it. See? We're good. I have been writing down in my phone. What's so funny? What's literally so funny? Stare at that doorknob until you stop kikiing. Stop giggling. Okay. I have a note in like my phone of things that I find important for my daughter to know. And she's 2 years old. And so whenever I was, maybe like 18, 19, I started to like write a book, if you will. It was like a Google Doc that I had in my computer. Just of kind of like journals and talking about things that were important to me and like major life events and maybe just like a day-to-day life little journaling thing that I had that I wanted to like share with my kids someday. I don't know if I still have like a little bit of those, but I stopped doing it. But my point is that I have a little note thing in my phone that's like, oh shoot, like that'd be cool to write that down for her to use someday. And some of those things are like, well, if you get sick, like take, this much cinnamon, this much lemon, this much garlic, and this tea, and like this tea is a concoction for a sore throat, like just things like that. Or like if you have a stain in your shirt, use this and this, and use this temperature of water and put it in, you know what I mean, just stuff like that. Or simply like quotes for life that I think are really good, or life lessons, just something like simple. And I have something that I wanted to go over that was something that I thought a lot about as a kid, and that was, well, I guess like when you're a little girl, you watch your princess movies, you see the happy endings, and you're like, what's my happy ending gonna be like? Who's my Prince Charming? And it's almost like when you become a preteen or like a teenager, that's all you think about. You're like, which boy likes me? Which boy am I gonna date? Or who's my true love? Like, I've already met him, or like, am I going to meet him? Is the guy that I'm with now, like, talking to, is he the one that I'm going to marry someday? And it's just like, it consumes you, and you literally become obsessed with it, as like a teenage girl, I think. And that's why it's pretty crucial to teach daughters early on that it's okay to be a girl, it's okay to have fun, and and go on little dates with guys. Like, it's sweet, but you don't need to let that thought of, like, who is my man someday? Like, who is it gonna be? I'd rather have my daughter think about what are my adventures gonna be like someday. And if I get to share that with someone, awesome. But I don't want her to think, like, her motive is, like, to find her Prince Charming. And I think that was my issue. Because, I mean, I guess, like, if you're, like, I'm adopted, so I always think that, like, in my head, I wanted my own little family. So it was, like, that was my motive, instead of thinking, like, let me explore myself. Let me learn about, like, where I come from, who I am, and travel the world, and see things, and make friends, and work in crazy places, and make lots of memories. And so I didn't really do that the way that I should have, which, I mean, I know now, which is fine. But I'm writing these things down so that my daughter can have a good basis or a good foundation as to what she'll, hopefully, have an idea of when she gets older. And that's in, finding the good qualities. If you want your Prince Charming, I'm not trying to, like, encourage it, but I'd rather, like, give her the gist of what she should expect, or, like, what she deserves ahead of time, rather than her, this is so hard to explain, but I just want my daughter, like, I want to be the mom that tells my daughter, like, the reality of things, head start. Like, if I remember whenever I was, like, in middle school, and I would hear guys, like, in class giggle when it was, like, turn to page 69 and I didn't understand. I want to be able to tell my daughter, like, this is what this means, because there's going to be kids in your class that are not going to have restrictions on phones or TV or YouTube. They're not going to have any restrictions. They're probably going to watch rated R movies by the time they're 8 years old. They're going to be talking about things that are adult-like, and I would rather her, get an understanding of what these adult-like things are, because for a girl, you're going to be looked at not as a little girl for forever. You're only going to get looked at as a little girl probably for the first 10 years of your life, and then after that, hopefully you know how to defend yourself. I mean, I'm just trying to keep it real plain and simple. So when it comes to, her going out into the world and going to school and being around other kids, I want her to know exactly what other people are talking about. I want her to be able, not obviously, like, gruesome, horrible detail things, but, like, a general idea of, like, I don't know, how do I explain this? Basically, my point is that when she's going to come to the age where she's going to want to date guys, I want her to, be able to understand that the first boyfriend she has might not be the last one she has. If she goes on a couple of dates with guys and she has a good time, that's okay. You went to the movies, you had some popcorn, you maybe got a little kiss on the cheek. Congratulations. Let's go home, watch your favorite movie, be a couple of girls, and go to sleep and not obsess over it. I want her to be so authentically her and so happy with, like, herself and, like, her independence, because I can already tell she's either going to be the boss of somebody or someone or something, and I can tell that she's very independent. So I love that for her. So I just want her to keep that up. Like, I want her to just be so confident in herself. So I wrote down these things about qualities in a Prince Charming, if you will, that I feel like are very important into having in a partner for when you want to start a family, or for when you want to really commit to having a serious relationship and you think you're ready for a family. Let me take a little sippy sip first. That was a really long spiel, and I'm really sorry about that. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this can be for, like, other moms that have daughters, but this could also be for, like, some young like, how do you say, like, this can be for young women too that are kind of lost in like the dating world, or wanting to have a family but not sure where to like start when it comes to finding a guy. The only reason that I feel like I'm confident in talking about this is because I'm so 1000% confident in my relationship and happy with the person that I chose to have a family with, because it's just so I don't even know how to explain it. It's just another part of the brain that I don't think like I knew was there, and now that like I'm aware, I just like see things for how they are, and like I'm just so proud of me for choosing this life, if that makes sense. God, I really hope I'm making sense. So, I guess this is, how do I say? I think if my daughter would ever ask me someday, what is the first thing, hello? I will drop the plane. Oh, okay, period. If my daughter would ever ask me, like, what am I supposed to look for, like, in a guy, or what is a good guy really like, or what are the signs, or what are the green flags? I've got 5. The first one, first and foremost, find a guy that truly, truly, truly wants to have a family. Somebody that is perfectly fine with settling down. And for some reason, people hate the phrase settling down. Not quite sure why, because when you settle down, you literally, quite literally, find peace. And I don't know why I don't know. I've never understood why people don't like that phrase. And it'll be obvious when you say you go on a first date and you have like a lot of fun with the guy. Say you go on a second date, you have some more fun, and then you kind of touch on topics that might be a little bit more personal. And then you go on that third date and you're like, okay, I'm enjoying hanging out with you. Here's a couple of more serious questions that I have for you, that are really important to me. And if you drop the when do you consider having a family or starting a family? Like, where do you see yourself, or when do you see yourself having a family? Do you want a family? Do you want kids? How do you feel about, like, marriage and all that? And I think that if they're like, well, I would like to, someday, and, sure. We're gonna have kids, like, at some point in our lives. Or if even, like, you talk about marriage and they're like, yeah, I want to get married someday. It's like, is there any confidence in what you're saying right now? I feel like that you're kind of just, like, tiptoeing around the question. So that I feel like would be a little bit of a, it is a pretty heavy question, but I feel like it's an important one. So why are you acting so awkward? I also think, like, if a guy who doesn't want a family has no problem going out multiple times a week and staying out till like 3 a.m., they're probably still in that phase of life where they're like, I just want to go out and have as much fun as I possibly can. I want to go as crazy and wild as I can. I want to hang out with my friends all the time. What's the next move? Which is fine. Everybody has that phase, but it's like, if you're looking to settle down, I don't think that kind of a person is exactly what you're looking for, maybe. Which obviously you can't quote me on any of this. I'm not like the expert. I'm not like a licensed therapist or anything, but how are you going to settle down with a guy who is obsessed with going out to parties and stuff, and you have a newborn at home, or, I don't know. I just think that somebody that's, gone through their party phase, gone through their chaotic phase, and they're just like, okay, I'm good now. Or like they can go out and they can, maybe stay out a little bit late, but not get absolutely wasted and not experimenting with substances. I think that might be fair. If you could find somebody that's adventurous and wants to go try different restaurants, try out different places, doesn't mind going to a party here and there and, going out dancing and staying out late here and there, I think that's okay. That's adventurous, which is a good thing. So, my point is, it'll be obvious if you find a guy that's like, yeah, I'm okay with going out and having fun, but I'm not really the type to like, go crazy on the weekends and stay out till 3 a.m. and get obliterated drunk and this and that or whatever. A man that has some sort of self-control, I think, is so, so, so important. Because if a man doesn't have any self-control, what's going to happen when temptation comes their way and you're trying to have a committed relationship? You're trying to settle down and have a family and do these really adult-like things that are, pretty huge responsibilities in life. And if you have a partner that gets tempted pretty easily, then it'll be hard to like build a life together, I think. That's just my opinion. That's just me. Why am I getting so many text messages? That was weird. Second thing, if a man can, now listen, my husband's a pretty reserved guy. He's pretty serious. He's not one to like really vocalize his internal feelings all the time, which I feel like is pretty common for a guy. But I think that if you can communicate with a guy and you can say, hey, I'm gonna go have lunch with my girlfriends on Friday night, and we're probably gonna go have a couple drinks at this place. Okay, great. And then if he says, hey, after work I'm planning on going out to my friend's house and we're probably just gonna share a 12-pack of beer. Okay, great. Glad we communicated. And then say, you're out and about in the middle of whatever you said you were gonna do, and you're like, hey, you doing okay? Are you at that place still? Yeah. Okay, great. You could always say, what time do you think you're going to be home? I might leave in like an hour or two. Okay, great. I think that just simple communication like that is just so life-saving for a relationship, because I think that for anybody, if you have somebody that is on your butt and is like constantly texting you, constantly calling you, needs to know who you're with, how many people, what time you got there, what exact location you have, if you have to track each other's location, I think that's an issue. I think that's a little bit of that's a little too far. I think that if you simply have air tags on your keys, that's fine. I mean, who cares? I mean, you're just like, okay, is your car parked at this restaurant that you said you're going to? Okay, great. I know the directions to get there. Is this car or truck parked at your friend's house, like the place you said you would be? Okay, great. But it's like, I mean, it's more of just like, I'm not going to track your location because it's like I need to know who you're with. I need to know your exact coordinates. It's just safety purposes. I don't think you need to really go into deep depth of what the heck the other person's doing at all times. Like, when did you go to the bathroom? Why were you in the bathroom for an hour? Why are you so... Chill. Just chill. And I've asked multiple couples that I've come across or that are in like my close circle who have really good relationships, and I'll be like, what's the secret? Or even like at my job, if I have couples that come in and celebrate like 55 years, I'm like, what is the secret? They're like, it's just simple. Just chill. They're like, literally just, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, great. You good? No, I'm not good. Okay, why? This, and this. Okay, noted. I'll work on that. It's simple. It's just simple. So I think that like learning to just live simply with each other and just be able to communicate like, hey, are you okay? No, not really. Okay, why? And just give a simple explanation without having to scream and lose your mind and accuse the person of doing something else. Just lay out your feelings and be like, well, the way you talked to me the other day kind of sounded like you were irritated with me, and that made me nervous. So I don't know if I did something wrong or if something bothered you. I'd like to know. Or you could say, hey, I probably could have used your help with something a couple days ago. Or maybe if you waited like a month or two to tell them, and just be like, I really have noticed in the past couple of months that you've barely touched the laundry. I could really use your help with laundry. Okay, great. I'll help you. No problem. Problem solved. It's just so simple. It really is. Like, if they simply say, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, you can be like, which friend? Oh, okay, got it. How many? Exact location? Exactly what are you doing? Exact time you're gonna get there? Exact time you're gonna get home? Don't worry about it. Just don't. If my husband goes out and he goes to hang out with whoever, whenever, however, and if he goes out with his friends to go to a restaurant or a bar, I don't care. I mean, just tell me where you're going, which friend you're going to be with, so I know who to call if you get into an accident and they were the last person you saw. Tell me the location of where you're going in case you get into an accident and I need to know the directions as to how to get there. It's just so simple. I don't need all the details. And like, I will literally just not text him for like 3 hours, and then I'll check in after 3 hours and be like, you good? Y'all having fun? Y'all good? Everything okay? You still at the same spot? Okay, awesome. It's that simple. It really is. With that communication, if you really just like express how you're feeling and have requests about, some certain things with the other person, and you say, hey, I'd really like it if you could help me with this, or hey, this hurts my feelings when you do this, or it would make me really happy if every once in a while you could get me some flowers or bring me coffee in bed. That would make me, that's a really romantic gesture that I would really like. Or you could simply say, I love surprises, so if you could give me a little surprise here and there to, bring the spark into our relationship, I think that could be really fun, and I'll do the same for you. If they act upon that says so many things about who they are as a person. And I'll tell you, all of these things that I'm explaining are qualities in my husband. Well, because I'm lucky. I just want to be able to share like how lucky I am, because I really don't know how often you could come across a guy like that. And especially as a girl, like, it's just so confusing out there. And I don't know. Oh no, it's getting warm. That's not fun. Okay. I think so I've already gone over 3. Sorry if I haven't said 1, 2, and 3. I don't know what you want from me. Number 4 is independence. I have 5. Keep in mind, I have 5. So we're on the 4th one. I promise I will shut up very soon. But the 4th one is independence. When I tell you, the last previous situation I was in, I felt zero independence. I felt so lost. And when I would try to be independent, I felt like I was doing something wrong all the time. And I felt like when I wanted to branch out and do something different, I felt like I was going to suffer a consequence. And I always felt like I had to carry my phone on me. I had to constantly check it. I was worried about getting in trouble. And it was just like, you pay your own bills. You pay for your own car insurance. You pay for your own car. You pay rent. Like, you're worried about what somebody else is thinking about you just simply taking a walk in the park and eating at a restaurant by yourself? Are you okay? So, when I met my husband, I don't know if we had the conversation, but I do know that I had told him that, obviously he had a general idea of what I'd been through before. But I told him, I was like, I just ended this pretty dark situation that I was in for several years. I'm in my early 20s, and I still have a lot of youth in me, a lot of adventure, a lot of learning, and, please bear with me, because I'm going to want to travel with my best friends to another state. I'm going to want to have girls' nights here and there. I'm going to want to go try new restaurants and make new friends and go out to a party every once in a while, but not like when you think of, Mom, and it was warm at your house. Can I call your heating and cooling company to look at your unit? Sure. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Why am I getting so many text messages? I didn't get them any earlier today. Why now? Um, but I told him that I am in my early 20s. I'm still, after this whole situation that I just went through, I feel like I was just so lost. So I need to find myself again. And if, you're okay with watching me just explore life, I promise I'll share it with you, and I promise I'll always come home to you. I want to hang out with you. I want to share these adventures with you. But I still deserve to be my own human being and, connect with myself and have me time and just be me. And I don't know. There's literally nothing wrong with that. And there's just something really beautiful with, what music you like. You know what hobbies you have. If you don't know what hobbies you have, you try new things. You try to see if you like drawing. You try to see if you are good enough at singing. You try to see if you want to get back into a sport that you used once to play. Or maybe you simply don't want to have a hobby and you just want to simply binge watch a new TV show and that's fun for you. Or you want to bake a cake out of nowhere. Like, who cares? Just have fun with yourself. Like, and I feel like before, in my situation before, it was almost as if, like, by me exploring and rewarding myself was almost like, how dare you? How dare you do that for yourself? And I don't know if that was like a control thing. I genuinely don't know. But it was almost like if I wanted to do my hair different, or if I wanted to get more dressed up one day, it's like, who are you doing that for? And it's like, for me. What what do you even mean? So, I don't know. I really don't know. Just when you can respect each other's independence, and if my husband is, I know he goes to work, I know that he eats lunch at a certain time, and he usually eats the lunch I pack for him. If he doesn't want the lunch I pack for him, I don't care if he goes and finds something else to eat. Congratulations. Great. Hope you enjoyed it. I know that he might leave around 4 o'clock from work, probably get home around 4:30 if he takes a little extra time. Maybe he had extra work to do. Whatever. Or maybe he shared a beer with a guy in the parking lot after work. Okay. I don't care. Just see you later. And then my husband will say, hey, are you awake? I'm like, yeah. Or if I'm not awake, I'll say, I am now. What are you going to do today? Don't know. I might go to the grocery store. Might take a whip around Costco or in the thrift store. IDK yet. He'll be like, okay. Sick. Like, it's just so nice when you can be in a relationship and you give the gist of what you're doing with the other person, and yet you have all this independence. God, it's so awesome. Because, like, when you have all this independence and you see that your person that you've kind of barely talked to throughout the day, they come home and they want to be home, and they want to hang out with you, and they want to talk to you about their day, and they want to cook with you and, say, well, what do you want to do tonight? Like, do you want to go to the pool? Do you want to go to a new restaurant? Do you just simply want to binge watch movies? That's the literal best feeling ever. Because if you're pressing a person, if you're pressing your partner, like, what are you doing? Who are you with? Like, all those crazy questions, why the hell are they going to want to come home to you? You've already asked them every single damn question. What are you going to talk about by the time they get home? I don't know. I think that I also know that I'm in such a good relationship because I never, hardly ever cry. And if I do cry, it's because I fear that all of this will get taken away from me because I love it so much. And like, I literally pray at night to God. I'm like, please do not take my family away from me. Please don't let this life that I have right now fade away from me. Please don't, please give me the strength to maintain this life that I have and not mess it up in any way. Please don't let me get carried away with anything. It's just, it's beautiful. And I just think that's important, if that makes sense. God, I really don't know if I'm making sense. And number 5, this might be TMI, but people say, looks aren't everything. Baby, yes, they are. Yes, they are. When I tell you my husband, and I've told people on multiple occasions, they might not agree with me, but in my head, when I see my man's face, I picture one of those Abercrombie Hollister dudes that's posted up in the front of Hollister that's like a black and white or some sort of like model dude that's on the wall, and it's like dark, but it's like kind of got a little bit of a warm light on it, and he's just got this crisp cut jawline, crisp cut shaven beard, but like a 5 o'clock shadow with like thick hair and just perfectly styled, and has this like gaze, and you hear this like that's what I see when I look at my husband. Okay, if you look at your partner, okay, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna climb you like a tree. I'm gonna ride you like a horse. Imagine you've been irritated by them all day. They seem to be doing every single thing that just slightly pisses you off. They didn't tie their shoes right. They didn't put enough chapstick on their lips. They didn't put enough lotion on their elbows. They don't have a matching outfit. You don't like the way that they, certain hairs are styled on their head. You don't like the way that they're drinking their cup of coffee. Like, just the littlest things that might be pissing you off. But at the end of the day, if you can look at that person and you can be so irritated and just might be on the edge, you could still look at them and be like, God, I still want to just I just want to, I can't say all the words that I want to say because there's restrictions. Physical attractiveness, sexual attraction. I'm just saying. I think that if even if you get those annoyances, at least you have eye candy. So now imagine if you picked some mediocre guy, didn't make you do a double take when you first met him, didn't make you want to check him out when you first met him. If you met him and you're like, oh, he's funny. Well, what if he's annoying? What if he pisses you off? Then what? You have nothing to look at. I mean, you might. But I mean, like, that's not fun. At least if you're, like, irritated with somebody and they're so smoking hot, you can just be like, yep. You know what I mean? I feel like that's all that I have to touch on that. Find a man that seriously is ready to settle down. Oh, damn. Hello? Is something not working? It says it's recording, but my face is frozen. What's going on? Hello? Don't tell me my battery is about to die. I will literally cry my eyes out. I'm telling you, I'm not exactly sure what's been going on with my computer, but keeps freaking, I don't know, it's weird. Okay, well, don't know where I left off. I knew I had to go to the bathroom, came back, and my computer was not working, so that's fun. I have a story for you. You're gonna enjoy this. So at my job, I am a server. And at my job, we're more of like an upscale restaurant. One of the nicer restaurants in the area. And I typically have some clientele that are well-to-do and can be a little bit of high maintenance here and there, but nothing crazy. Usually nothing crazy. Sometimes people are different. Kind of takes a little bit more patience sometimes, which is fine. I have a toddler, can make it work. Well, last night we were very slow because it is very slow season during the summer because we're extremely busy in the winter with all the holidays. And I had a table come in last night. Everybody was mostly really nice, but I noticed that this gentleman came in by himself, and he came in with a walker, and he sat down by himself. And I was like, that's interesting. Wouldn't somebody like want to help him come inside and like help him get seated safely? It was just a bit strange. He said that everybody else was on their way and that they would be there soon. I was like, awesome, sounds good. Well, I guess his wife, allegedly, maybe his wife, don't really know. We think it is, because this woman called in and said, yeah, we're going to come in tonight, but don't mind my husband. He looks horrible. He has stage 4 cancer, so, don't mind him. He looks horrible, or something along the lines of that. And then she said, he'll be there first, and then I'll just come in after him. So, like, you're just embarrassed to be walking next to your husband who's cripplingly ill. So this woman walks in, she has this obnoxious hat on. You might as well throw an effing bowl on your head. It looks so stupid. I don't mind the occasional, like, cute little sun hat or whatever, but, like, what are you actually wearing? You look like you're wearing a bowl on your head. Whatever. So she comes in, obnoxious tote bag that she can barely walk with, has this long, colorful dress on. At first I'm thinking, okay, she looks, like, pretty hip. Like, she seems like she's got it going on for herself. She knows what she likes. She knows what she likes. She might just be a bit different. Whatever. I'm different. It's fine. I get to the table. She says, I'll need an iced tea. And then she just keeps talking to the table. So I'm like thinking she's still talking to me. But no, she just says what she wants and moves on with the conversation. And I'm like, okay. So that's her vibe. She just kind of like has been taking over this table's energy and was kind of just like the main center of attention. They were celebrating this guy's 30th birthday, right? And so he looked like, he was having a good time. She was being super nice to him and giving him gifts and stuff, but she was just a bit, colorful. And, eventually, she needs candles to be put on the complimentary dessert that we offer, right? So she has these big candles, and she says, I need to put the candles on the dessert. And I'm like, okay. She walks away, and I'm like, where's she going? Maybe to get the candles, right? She comes back. She's walking around the corner. I'm like, hey, do you want me to put the candles on that dessert for you? She's like, yeah. Just keeps walking. So, number 1, you acknowledged me. Number 2, I was asking you a question. Number 3, you barely answered the question and you just ignore me and keep walking away in front of multiple people that were standing nearby. I literally look at these other people standing nearby and I'm like, this bitch for real? So, I just try to shrug it off, right? It is, but she's different. So I get the candles on the cake. Not cake, churros. You can't really stick candles in churros, so we made do. I bring it to the table. I'm trying to light the candles at the table. She's like, I need you to come over here and take some pictures. I was like, okay, I'll light these candles real quick. No, like, I need you to come over and take pictures and a video for us. And I'm like, I understand. I'm just trying to light these candles for the candles that you wanted for the dessert. Like, I'm lighting the candles. Okay, yeah, but, like, I need you to... I will take your hat and you could finish that sentence because I don't think I'm technically allowed to say that on here. Oh my God, you're pissing me off. I kind of light the candles, right? I was only able to get one lit, and she was just absolutely crapping her pants because she needed me over there that exact freaking second, expecting me to be at her beck and call. I wouldn't be surprised if her ancestors owned people previously because of her attitude. So I go over there, and I get her phone, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm like, you know what? It'd be kind of fun if she has this obnoxious hat on. Keep in mind, this hat that she's had on the whole time, let me just give you a visual. Take this off. Yeah, I bet you like that, don't you? This hat that she has on, bitch, I'm not even kidding you. She looked like this the whole time. The whole time. If she would lift her head, she'd have to lift it like this for me to be able to see her. She'd be ordering, and she'd be like this, and I'd literally have to be like, you want what? What do you want? Bitch, you're pissing me off. You are literally making me so irritated. So she gives me her phone, right? And I'm like, okay, so I have to take pictures of them. And I'm like, okay, well, you have this hat on. Can't really see your face. So, I'm taking pictures of you all, but I can't see your face. But you're wearing this hat. So, sorry. None of your pictures have your face in them because you have this hat on. I'm sorry. I took a video of them and, wrote all of their, I got all their faces in them. But as far as the pictures, your face isn't going to be in any of them, babe. Sorry. You made me mad, and you were kind of conceited and kind of mean. So I took pictures with your hat as your face. Sorry. I felt like that was a minor, that was a small revenge tactic that I was able to use. But regardless, I was able to take a very nice video of them to be courteous, but as far as pictures, I'm not getting your face in any of them because you're mean. What do you mean you're going to call the restaurant ahead of time and say my husband looks disgusting because he has cancer and don't mind the way he looks? I'm just going to come in after him because I don't want to be seen with him. She didn't say that verbatim, but it's like, what do you even mean? So I just thought that was so funny. But guess what? Here's the kicker. You're going to get a kick out of this. I'm kind of telling my other coworkers what's going on and how everything is going down. And I'm kind of just I can't believe this woman is so serious. The way that she's acting, this has got to be a movie. And we're just kind of so this is just an interesting night. And I had patience, and it was fine. Overall, it was a fine dinner. It was just very testing my patience type of dinner. But everybody else was super sweet. And she was nice for the most part, but she just had this condescending attitude toward her. And then once I found out that whole pre-phone call thing, not a fan. So anyways, I am telling my coworkers about everything that's been going on. I wish I was joking. I really do. But we all look over and we glance at this table. Multiple of us. Somebody at the table does not have real teeth. They have either dentures, which I'm assuming that's what they were because you could take them out. I don't know what types of teeth, artificial teeth, are out there, but the kind that you can take out. When I tell you verbatim, this person, I don't recall, I think it was maybe the younger adult, not the guy celebrating or his wife, but I think it was maybe this woman's daughter or something. I don't even know if it was the woman. I don't even know whose teeth they were, but somebody took these teeth, took them out, took the teeth, dunked it in the water glass and cleaned the teeth in the water, went like this. I don't know where they put them because I was in the back already gagging. What do you even mean at this restaurant? You're going to take your teeth out, dunk them in the water. Clean your teeth in the water glass? I'm not surprised. I'm really not. That was a wonderful production, a wonderful show. Bravo. Encore. You're joking, right? That's actually insane behavior. So that was the end of that. I took a picture of the glass, and what the water looked like. So if you're gonna gag a little bit over something like that, don't look. But I'm gonna insert the picture for evidence purposes. Wrong side. Oh my god. I have my baby monitor up here, and my husband just got our daughter up from her nap, and he's changing her. He's changing her diaper. And he gets a diaper, and his back is facing her, and he goes, the diaper. That was so cute. And it's like all on. That was so cute. Anyway, so, yeah. Yeah. The color of that water, babe. There was a floaty in it, too. And we don't know what that floaty was. So, awesome. Love that for us. I think maybe one last thing to touch on, kind of bringing back to like the whole relationship thing. I'm gonna do this whole it's basically like money talk, and like being a young adult and like learning your finances, and also like if you're in a relationship and you're thinking about settling down with somebody and like combining your income, or like learning how to budget and learning how to like pay bills and stuff together. I would like to touch on that because I think that that's a super interesting topic to talk about that I've actually been speaking with like with my friends recently, which I felt like I really do enjoy talking about. But before that, I don't know what it is, but I've been getting this like itch, this really like insane itch to just want to be by the ocean. I don't know if this is just manic behavior, but I just want to move by the ocean. I want to move close to the ocean. When I think it's because fall and winter is coming up, and I just genuinely get so... It's like I'm not myself whenever the weather's cold and like sad and all the trees die. It's like I need plants, I need life, I need color, I need sun, I need no clouds. I love summer rain, summer thunderstorms. I love it. But like as far as winter and fall, I just get so depressed, man. Like my skin is dry, my hair is dull, it's not curly, my bones hurt. I just don't like it. I really hate it, to be quite honest. And in the snow is fun, but like driving through it sucks. It's dangerous. Shoveling it is difficult. It's pretty to play in for like a day, and then you're just like, okay, you can leave now. So to be honest, I'm thinking of like saving up some money and maybe like saving up some vacations to go on, to go visit family in like San Diego or something, or like in Tampa, Florida, or Jacksonville, Florida, and just see some family, because I'm like, I'm not trying to be here depressed and stuff, you know? So yeah, I just have this itch to live by the ocean, and like, I don't care if it's in Florida. I mean, if like I had to choose, I'd probably do Florida, but also like, I used to live in San Diego, California, particularly Chula Vista. I lived my first like 4 years of my life there, from what I remember. Apparently I lived in Virginia like for the first year of my life, but I don't remember that. Because my dad worked for the Pentagon, and then 9/11 happened, and he was there, and it was just like really depressing, and so we had to move. Any hoosers. We moved to San Diego, and I loved like being a little kid there and just like playing in the backyard and like the kiddie pool. And I remember my mom would take me to SeaWorld. I remember that. I remember just the green, the sun, like just how our house was just so nice. And I don't know I think it just like maybe because I was there for like the first several years of my life, I think that was just like, I don't know, so memorable for me, maybe. And so I think that just really stuck with me. And so anytime we would go back to visit my aunt and uncle, it was just like, oh my God, I just love it here. But now it's just so expensive, and it can get pretty dangerous. And I don't know, it's just not really what it used to be, I guess. But visiting there is fun. So it's like, at least it's a nice place to visit. But like, I just don't know if we'd be able to afford it. I don't know how safe it would be. we'll see. But Florida, I was born in Florida, so I have a lot of family in Florida too. And when I think about Florida, I'm just like, oh, I really do resonate with Florida too, but it can get pretty hot. But I've been to Jacksonville, and I feel like Jacksonville was a bit, I don't know, it's just a little bit better as far as like weather. But my my aunt and uncle live in Tampa, and they live like on a lake, and it's just so perfect on that lake because I don't know if it's just like they're not right on the coast and they don't get like that insane humidity maybe. I don't know. Like I just remember it always being nice there, and I just my hair gets curlier. I am just in a better mood. Everything is green and there's flowers everywhere, and there's just a lot more like I don't know, there's just more trees and forest like, but like people have horses and stuff, and it's some places are pretty like private and shaded, and I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how to explain it. What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm upstairs. I'm recording. I told you I was going to be up here recording. What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm almost done. So anyway, I just got this itch to live by the ocean. So I don't know how far this is going to take off, and if it really does take off pretty far and I am financially comfortable, I'm going to pay this house off first thing and then get some kind of house, some kind of home by the ocean ASAP. But yeah, in regards to money talk, I'll promise I'll make this quick. In regards to money talk, I had somebody come up to me recently that's about to get married, and they're like, how did you do it like financially with your partner? Like, do you just like split bills? Do you like have different bank accounts? Like, do you put all your money together? And I told her that my dad's a financial advisor, and he was like, he told me that the number one thing that makes people divorce is when you don't share money. And basically just everything that you all have, and you just combine it, like whether that's your things or his things, and whether that's your money, his money, it's all together. Somebody's always going to have a higher paying job, somebody's always going to make more income, somebody's always going to have saved up more money. And the whole point of like finding the right person for you, you need to make sure you can trust them. Like that's a huge part of starting a life with someone. And like you should be transparent about that before you commit to having a relationship with somebody. And luckily, like my husband said, I think that was maybe like almost a year into us dating, he was like, well, before he and I had a joint bank account, it was like, here's my card. If you need to go get gas, like here's my card, go get gas. Or if you want to go to the grocery store, here's my card. Like this round is on me or something. I don't know. It was just very much like, you do something, I'll make it up to you. It was very much like that. And so when we got married, I mean, it was just like, we already had the, hello. I don't even know what that was. So my husband and I have basically just shared everything as a collective. So we have this pool, and essentially he's the provider. He's the one that's working and busting his butt and working extremely hard. So we have just this big pool, right? We have this big financial pool. And my husband is like, I will go do the hard working hours. I'll do the hard labor. All the things that, you shouldn't have to do, I'll do it. And my responsibility is I make the budget. I make the appointments. I save the money. He and I communicate good. So it's like, hey, I need to fix my truck. I'm probably going to spend about $300 on this. Okay, great. I will adjust the budget. I'll adjust whatever. Then my job as like a stay-at-home mom is I'm taking care of the baby, but I'm taking care of the house. I'm checking on appointments. I'm checking on things that maybe the house might need. I'm checking on bills that we might owe outside of our utilities or outside of the regular bills that we need or to pay. I just look at everything, and I even bought a whiteboard, and I'm like, on this day, this is how much we owe. And this next week, this is how much we'll owe. Save up this much money this week, but have this much, in the checking for these bills to process. Like, doing the math, laying it all out, like, in front of your face, and showing it to your partner is like, okay, you get it? Awesome. Like, I think that just sharing everything with this person, not only does it make you all just trust each other even more, but like it makes you more excited about things that you want to like goals that you have, because it's easy to like see how much like of a pool you have like built together and just be like, ooh, we're doing a good job. And then you start thinking like, oh, well, I could probably go do this and that. And then you're like, oh, shoot, I have a whole other partner that shares this as well. So it's like, it's easy to get like tempted and carried away. But like that teaches you self-control, that teaches you respect for your partner. And there's just something really cool about, I don't know, just getting together and just splitting that up. And, well, it's really cool to just get together and trust each other with that. And I love the fact that he's the provider and he's the one that's, not that I'm not doing any hard work, but it's like, it's almost like he's the, what's the word? Maybe like a CEO and I'm the CFO. So like he's the big boss and I'm also the big boss, but I'm the one that's doing all the dee. Here you go. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's pretty cool because we both have pretty important roles in the family. So it really does even out that like that, what's the word? Like power. There's a word for it. Power something. I don't know. There's nothing up here. You get my point. I really like that he and I both get to have pretty important roles and that he respected me enough to be like, hey, I trust you. You run this household and I'll work for it. Like, it's just really cool. I think that's it. I genuinely don't know if this was a fun episode or not. It might have just been more informative than anything like gossipy. I'll work on the gossip. I'll go see what I can find. Al fondo. It's warm. Yeah, that's all. Sorry it's taking me so long to record this. Sorry I'm getting used to it, okay? Bear with me. My TikTok is at Cat's Funny, and I'm not really on Instagram very much, so don't really look for anything too exciting over there. I'm basically just going to be doing this, and that is that. I should probably stick with TikTok and other social medias, but I'm just not very good at it. And, who knows? Maybe if I do really good on here and I have the finances to do so and hire someone to be like a social media manager, that'd be great, because I'm not good at social media. I also don't have time for it either, because I'm a mommy. I had to use that at some point. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Yeah, I think that really is all that I have. Thanks for another happy hour episode. I hope you had fun. And I see you next. I can't give you an honest date on that one. So I'll just see you next time. Toodaloo.